Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for making the time to get on these calls. It really does mean a lot because we want to run these and add value, and we want you guys on here so that you can learn and get inspired. I mean, I do just by seeing your faces, right? It's you realize that we're part of something so much bigger. We don't have this tiny little home-based business, where there are all of us on here. So it's so great to have you on here, and then just arranging all the speakers and getting them on here. So thank you so much for making this a priority. I know it's not easy. Ilona's just finishing dinner. Some people need to be in bed, like myself, or whatever, kid routines, all that stuff. So we know and totally appreciate you guys being on here. So without further ado, we're going to let Ilona from Kelowna take it away and share her secrets of acquiring new customers, closing the deal.
Yeah, so really, hey everyone, I've been on these calls before, usually blacked out because it is dinner time in my house. So I always listen, I'm just never really on the camera. So thanks for having me on. And I know when we were talking about what I would be talking about, I kept thinking about, what value could I bring to this call and what I'm doing. So the major thing that I thought about was closing. And it sounds like closing the deal, like we're like salespeople, and that's not what I mean by that. I just mean, I think you guys all know that we're getting really good at this point in, depending on where you're in your business, but sharing, whether that's your story, the products, even the business, but mainly I find like in the beginning, we all get so excited about sharing and we do really well. And now I think all of us can just go out and share with the world without worrying about what they're going to think or, anything like that. But then I feel like we just drop the ball, in my opinion. I don't know if anybody can relate. Can you guys give me a hands up, or are you guys really good at sharing? There you go. Where you're all excited. You're like, yes, I just reached out to 10 people. I messaged them. And then maybe you don't hear back. And then your doubts go, ooh, maybe they don't like it. Maybe, then your stupid stuff comes in like, oh, but they're soy, or what if they can't afford it and they're not messaging? And then all of a sudden you just kind of leave it because it's easier to leave it than actually follow up. So I started a binder, and in my binder, there's a section called ongoing conversations. And that's where I kind of want to go with the story is, so you've now reached out to this person, you've probably on Facebook Messenger or through text or through email or on so many different platforms, and it's hard to keep track of everybody. So I started putting them in the ongoing conversation pile with their name highlighted and when I sent them information. And I go back, and my goal is to get rid of that ongoing conversation so that it's either, yes, I'm ready to place my order, so they go into my customers, or, oh, not right now, it's Christmas time, I just don't have the funds, maybe in the new year, they can go into follow-up in December, January, or they could be, no, not right now, or altogether not interested at all. So I kind of wanted to see, who's struggling with closing the deal. Is there anybody that's struggling with what to say? Anybody? I see Michelle and Stephanie and Stace and Nikki, but I'm trying to see who else. I mean, I'll just share what I usually do. So then what, once you've sent the information and you're wondering, oh, no, they're not getting back to me, I usually just think, okay, be intentional. And the whole point of you sending this was because they asked for it, right? It's not like you just sent it out to 100 people and we're like, well, if it sticks, it sticks. They actually were interested. So you can either go back to their first why they asked you for it and say, hey, I know that, you asked me because your child's always really sick and I did send you information. Did you get a chance to look at it? And then silence, because that happens quite a lot, which is very frustrating. Then you wait a couple of days and some people just give up. They're like, I'm done. But these people are in my ongoing file. They have to go somewhere. So my intention is just get to the point, yes or no, and move on. So I've been really focusing on that. And then some of the things that I'm asking are, I'm a hey girl kind of girl. I would say, hey girl, I know I sent you that information about your child getting sick and it looks like you've seen it because I see your little face on Facebook Messenger, right? And then I would say, do you have any thoughts? Are you ready to get started? And that's it. Are you ready to get started? Or I would say, have you thought more about adding Juice Plus into your family's diet? Those kinds of things. Or is this still of interest to you? I know you requested information from me last, 2 months ago and I haven't heard back. And then just have that, I don't want to be a pest. Can you please let me know whether, you're interested or not? And hopefully they open up and let maybe it's money issues and then that's a whole other story, right? We can introduce the the business to them, the children's health study, all those kinds of things. Or maybe they're just, it's not on their mind anymore, you know, and then you just bring them back and you're like, well, the reason you asked me was, has that gotten any better? And are you ready to get started? So I don't know if that helps. I just wanted to kind of share those little closing things with you. And I don't know if any of you guys have like a binder like that where you're keeping track of who you're talking to. To me, I just want to like get it done. So I'm like, let's go through this binder. I want them a yes mainly, but if they're not a yes, I don't want them lingering around in there. Because I'm intentional and I want to grow my business and I just want to move on from those people to new people, but I want to finish up the conversation. So hopefully that's helpful. Does anybody have any questions or anything that they agree with or disagree with? It's really hard just talking to yourself. You know that, right? Mm-hmm. I see your cute faces. Nothing? You're all good?
So maybe share, Ilona, what do you say? So you're about to follow up with somebody, how you even start that follow-up?
So what I found is when people ignore you, a lot of my distributors will just be like, I've tried, they're not messaging me back. So I will just totally take it off Juice Plus and be like, happy Thursday. How's your day going? And then that person's probably like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about her. Right? So it's not about, have you looked at the Juice Plus info? Have you looked at the Juice Plus info 3 or 4 times? I'll just be like, or you could even go further and snoop on their Facebook page, right? And you find out that maybe today they went on a field trip with their son and you could say, hey, I saw that you went on your field trip. How did that go? And then you come back to their mind and then they're like, oh, that's so sweet of you to ask. It was really good. And then without you asking again, literally the next message is like, I haven't forgotten about you. And then they tell you, right, Michelle, you're nodding. And that's just how I bring it up is I totally don't go back to Juice Plus. I just ask, you know, how they're doing or what they have planned for the weekend. That's what I do.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Ilona, that's exactly what I've been doing lately. And that's what actually Ray Higdon teaches is that you should wait about 4 days and then go back to them and say, you know, I've been really, really, really busy and I haven't had a chance to follow up with you yet. Or actually not even that, like just say, you know, I've been really busy, but I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing. Like just something really casual like that.
Yeah. And especially when the conversation started about, let's say, sickness, right? So many times I'll write those messages like, hey, Michelle, oh my gosh, I noticed that you're sick again. And because I have my ongoing list, literally, you guys, it's been so helpful. It's like, oh, Michelle chatted with her sick in January. Michelle chatted with her in September, sick again, right? So you can go back and say, honestly, you've been sick so often. I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know if you're up to, you know, learning some more about what I do to keep the sickies away or germs away, you know, and then you have something to fall back on. And then I would go back to that. If they haven't looked at it, I would say, no, you've been really sick. And I know you want to avoid that with the cold winter coming, you know, are you interested in, and if they don't look at it, you know what else I say? Can you tell that I'm a red from the training, by the way? You know, I watched Dr. Mitra's training today because I couldn't get on at 9 our time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm such a red. And even on this call, I'm like jumping from one thing to the other. But you know, then what I'll say, and I forget what I was going to say. See, I was like on a really good like thought of what I was going to tell you guys about the conversation, but I will jump back to, you know, your kid was sick and that's why you messaged me in the beginning, right? And then there was a really good thought that's just totally escaped my mind. But so that's good, Michelle, that you're doing those things already too, because I think that's super important just to bring it back to not Juice Plus, and eventually it comes back up.
The only other, sorry, Melissa, just the only other thing I add at the very end that I have found is working really great is I kind of let people off the hook a little bit, and I always say, if not, no worries or no big deal. And when you do that, they're more likely to answer you back. And you usually get yeses. Like it's just those few little words I find are really working good. So I wanted to share that with everybody because I think it's helpful. It took me almost 5 years to learn that. So there you go.
Sharing, that's awesome.
That's great, Ilona. And just to add to that, with the GoPro, in terms of when to follow up. So when you're sharing information, set that next follow-up date right then and there, and they agree to it. So then you're not going to feel like you're bugging them. You actually had a time set that you're going to follow up with them, right? So you know, and you got to put it in your own words. Like, I don't like the ask confirming. So you're for sure that worked. That doesn't work for me, but maybe that's in some people's vocabulary. I know a lot of Gen Ys say KK, like they say everything twice. So for sure, maybe that works for them. For me, it doesn't. I'll just say, yeah, is that like what? I usually give them a couple options. You know, you want me to give you a shout on Thursday, or would Friday be better? And then they'll pick, and then I'll say, okay, great, mornings or afternoon, when's better? Just like I would normally talking to anybody. So that then you have that date set, and then you say, cool, have a great couple days. Reach out in the meantime if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'll give you a shout Friday afternoon. Sound good? Great. So just totally casual, and always remember, detach from the outcome. Just trust it's going to work out the way it's supposed to, and detach so they don't feel like you're ready to pounce on them, right? So just, we have such a gift. We have something that everybody needs. Whether they take advantage of it, that's our job, is sharing. So going from there. So yeah, practice the GoPro, order those books if you don't have it, and go there.
I see Amanda.
That's what I struggle with. I think I'm just too easy to give them the video. Like, I don't wait till I set up a time to like talk about it. So I'll just give them the video. So I'm having a hard time just not giving it to them, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like no, the GoPro, he says, make sure you set up your time before you give them the video, so that you know when to follow up.
Oh yeah, but do it loosely, like just as like when you're having that initial conversation with somebody and you're texting or you're actually talking live the old-fashioned way and stuff, and just say, hey, if I sent you some info, would you take a look at it if you're using that? And they'll say, yeah, sure. Say, awesome. When do you think you could look at it? And I'll give you a shout after, or you could say, do you think you could look at it by Thursday or Friday? And I could follow up then, just answer any questions and see what they say. And then just be natural, but just try to make sure you add that sentence into it. And then once you get that and say, okay, great, I'll send that to you. I usually leave it, and then I send the video in a separate message, so it kind of stands out by itself. And then it also, you know how it what do you call it, expands and shows a picture of whatever. Yeah,
that's a good idea. And sometimes what I do too, to answer your question, is I used to find like, would Monday or Tuesday work? And then sometimes the conversations get cut off depending on the person, right? They'll get busy with something else. Like me, I just start moving on doing something else. So what I've started doing is just saying, you know, let's say today is Wednesday and I sent somebody info today that they requested. I may look at my calendar and think, realistically, like tomorrow's too early. Friday, I'm pretty booked. Saturday, it's hockey and whatever. I probably won't get to these people till Monday. So I will sometimes say, that's great, here's some information, take a look, I'll follow up with you on Monday. And then that gives them, 4 days. I would usually do like 3 days, or even 5 days actually, the way I'm going right now. But at least then they know Monday, okay, that gives me lots of time, I can look it over on the weekend, right? So you could ask, when will you have a chance to look at it? Sometimes they'll continue the conversation, but sometimes it's just dead. So if it's dead, then I'll write and say, you know what, no worries, I haven't heard back from you, I'll just check in with you on Monday. Right? Give them a day that could work for you. So that's another little tip there. And I agree. Your name was Crystal, right? That you asked the question. Yeah. I'm glad that you asked that, because that's why I was saying in the beginning, we get so good at sharing and so confident, and here's this great video and I want everybody to see it. And then we kind of step back. We're like, oh, now what? Right? So it's getting back to those people and asking those questions. And why are you interested? I always say that. What are your health goals? What intrigues you about this, or what makes you interested in the product, right? And then they tell you, and they're like, oh, I have high blood pressure, or whatever that may be.
That is so key, Ilona, because I caught myself doing that today, because I did this post and I had a bunch of people say, yeah. And then I was just quick, messaging them. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've totally missed out here. I did not ask the question. So what are your health goals? And then I can even better help you. So I actually went another message at the end. And even more importantly, I want to ask this. So make sure you're following up with them, because you may be ready to send them a video on how Juice Plus is made, for example, because they're science and they want to know all that. And then you just say, so what are your health goals? And then all of a sudden it switches to their kid who's totally sick. So then you may end up sending 2 videos, right? Or the conversation could go further and further, and they don't really care about how it's made. It truly was about, tell me some awesome stories with children's health studies. So
And I remembered what I was going to say, my scatterbrain brain over here, is if people ignore me, right? They just don't message, but I can see that they're seeing, even when I'm just like, hey, happy Thursday, how's it going? Sometimes I'll say, I know sometimes videos can be overwhelming because some of them, right, if they're asking about the shapes, they're asking about the children's health study, there's quite a few that they have to watch. I'll just say, if that's too much for you, would it be easier if we just jump on the phone call to discuss further, right? And then that way you don't have to watch them, because I was the same when I talked to Sarah about Juice Plus. I didn't say, can you send me a video? Can you tell me about the study? I just said, oh, it worked for you. Think it'll work for me? Great, sign me up. And we got on a call, right? So some people are about just hearing your voice, and then you can ask so many more questions as well and take it offline. So, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Ilona. I can't tell you how many people, I always 100% of the time leave a voice message when I do a post on Facebook, or I reply and say something about I run this healthy challenge or whatever. When somebody comments, I take it offline and I use my voice, and I can't tell you how many people have said, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I love hearing your voice. I didn't even know we could do that. So right there, they like that. And the tone of your voice is so different than what they're taking the tone of your message, right? If they're in a bad mood and they read it, they could interpret your text so differently. Whereas they hear this happy, cheery voice, not trying to sell them anything. Like when you are reaching out to these people, guys, think, what value can I bring to this person's life? What information can I give them? Some of you may have heard what I've been doing lately is reaching out on different Facebook groups, and I'm just going, blah. This is what you need when people say, what should I do about my diet? What should I do about fat loss? I'll just say, it's nutrition is first, and this is what you need to do. And I basically list exactly what the shred is about. And then I just say, I've been running this group and blah, blah, blah. If anyone wants to join, great. And then the private message happens, and I tell them in a bit more detail, and I say, scroll through, you'll see what we've been up to for the last shreds, and you'll also notice that I recommend a product, blah, 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 blah. Here's like I say, maybe 2 sentences, and I say, you do not need to order this product in order to be part of my group. I know you're going to get such value just being there, but this is why I recommend it. And then I move on. So, hey, we're starting on the 4th. Can't wait for you to join us. So just think value, value, value. All of you guys have so much value that you can offer everyone that you talk to. Even if you're not a trainer or a nutritionist or whatever, you've been doing this business long enough, whether it's 2 days or 10 years, you know the value of this business, and you can share that with people because you have the resources you can send them, right? Somebody wants to get healthier, you've got the cookbook you can send them, right? Somebody wants to work out, we've got some videos already started, right? It's there. You guys have access to all of this to offer so much value to people. And people say, do you give them everything? Absolutely. I let them see it all. They can see the cookbooks. I don't care. They can see it all, because they could technically go to Healthy Revolution anyways. And my goal is to get these people healthier. And once they start getting healthier, I'm sure they're going to order the product, or most of them. Some of them will, right? When it's the right time. So just give and give and give and give. And I've had such great feedback doing that from people. Just thank you so much. Because there's so many groups and people blah, 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 but not a lot of value, right?
Yeah.
And then also to what Ilona said about calls, I wanted to bring that up. Conference calls. We have been talking a lot about conference calls, and really making that the main focus from the grad groups that you guys know that we're running on Monday nights. And I am loving them. I think they are going so well. We're getting more people showing up every time, so you guys can join anytime. VF, SCs, SSCs, ready to move to the next level in each of those groups. And the goal for those groups, and I'm throwing it out here to you guys as well, brand new or not, is to book 3 conference calls with your upline, sideline. If it's somebody that's in common with who you're talking to, I challenge you guys to do 3 per week, and it will blow up your business. Sarah Beardmore did a great training on conference calls, so you can watch that. I believe she posted on Team B. Hey, Nikki, is that right? Yeah, I think I saw it there. So that's great. And it's so great because you just get them on the call with somebody, and then somebody else does, and I hate using this word, but the sharing, we'll say, shares their product, shares their story. So it's third-party validation, right? They are so powerful. So if you have not done that, commit to yourselves to doing, as I said, I'm challenging you guys to do 3. If you've never done it, do one. As soon as you do one, you'll be like, oh my gosh, that was so great. I'm so glad I did that. Anyone have any questions about conference calls? Anyone afraid? Feel weird? They're icky, gross?
The conference call is different than the Freedom Revolution. Like a conference call is just a call, just like a phone conversation.
It could be on the phone, or it could be a Zoom like this. So it could be you and I and your new rep, Tracy, and we're just on Zoom this way, or literally on the phone. So you've just chatted with Tracy, and you might say, oh my gosh, your story reminds me so much of my friend Melissa. Mm-hmm. I would love for you to talk to her and hear her story. Okay. Would you love to give her a shout and see if when she's available, and we could just talk and you could hear her, she's great or whatever. So you build your upline up to your prospect, and then when you get on the phone, then you tell me how wonderful your prospect is, right? This is my friend Tracy. She's a mom. She's this. She's done all this stuff, and she's watched my post and is really curious to learn about blah. And then that's it. Then you are done. And then I would take over if it was you and I, for example. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions about what do you say to somebody to get them onto a three-way? Like, is that kind of icky for you guys?
Yeah. Well, how would you suggest, like, I have a few people like keep saying they're interested and we're about to do it, but for some reason or another, it never gets done. So a couple of them seem interested, but I've suggested a call with my leader, I said, and I never hear anything back from her on it or anything. So I'm wondering.
Okay. So do you use that word actually with my leader? A call with my leader?
I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that might be something, because then they may think. Like, to me, that word was like, ew, icky. So you could just say, hey, a friend of mine, I would love for you to chat with a friend of mine. Your story, I think you would totally resonate with the story. Or just say, you know what, I'd love for you to chat with a friend of mine. She knows so much more than I do because she's been doing this longer, and she could answer any of your questions.
Okay.
So make it super chill.
Okay.
Do you see the difference in the feel of that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, yeah, a big difference.
Yeah. So, and then especially if you're new, people are probably going to be asking you questions, and just say, oh my gosh, you've got great questions. And you know what? I think I would love for you to meet my friend, to chat with my friend, Melissa, because she's going to be able to answer your questions way better than I can.
Yeah.
How about if I just give her a shout and see if she could jump on the phone with us? And you could literally pick it up right then and there and try to catch somebody right away. If you've got somebody on the phone, they may say, yeah, sure. Or if they say, yeah, I'd like to do that, say, oh, do you want me to try her now, or is another time better? And then they'll say one or the other, and then you start okay, great, what time, and go from there.
So then the next time when she'll send me a message saying that she's interested now in purchasing it, I would like her to speak to somebody, and it's like right in the moment. Would I just hop on Facebook Messenger and see if anyone is available?
Just try and just say, hey, you know what? Let me try Melissa. She's often available right away. I'll try her. And then if you can't try me, you could try whoever, right? Whoever you wanted to just try. You never know. Right
in the Team B Facebook group, then I would send the message to, or
I would do a private message, like on the Facebook an actual messenger, because that'll pop up on my phone right away that I got a message. But if you do a post in a Facebook group, unless I go there or I look at the post, you know what I mean? I won't see it.
Okay.
But a message for sure.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for that tip already. For that.
Anybody else want to add to that? Some thoughts that have been doing conference calls and inviting people to get on them? What your thoughts are in words and what you say? Michelle, you said you did one. How did you get your prospect on there?
Well, I just invited her to, she was looking at the business, right? She wanted she was interested in the business opportunity. So I just basically said to her, would you be open to talking to, I didn't say leader, but I said someone who's been doing this business a lot longer than I have and just get a different perspective. And, you know, I work very closely with her, and she was like, yeah, I would love that. So we actually had the call today, and she's going to be signing up. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah, that's great. I find conference calls are great when people are looking, like Michelle was saying, for the business opportunity. And for me, what I do on them is mainly ask a ton of questions, right? Like I follow Sarah's routine, but I think I do it a little bit differently. I almost judge it like a job interview, because I find in the beginning I would sign up all these people and then I would get discouraged because they weren't doing a whole lot. And that's just, again, my red coming out. I need everybody to go full speed ahead, like Thomas the Train. And so I ask a ton of questions. You know, what are you looking for? Why do you want to stay home with your child? Great, you need to make $200 a month. How much time are you able to put towards this business? Like I ask all those right away so I can, you know, kind of weed them out, what they're looking for. And I think that's been really helpful, because then you're setting the stage right from the front, and like right from the beginning, right? So I do that a little bit more too, just to know who I'm actually signing up and what they're willing to put in. Yeah.
Love it. And I know when you're new, you're just so excited to sign anybody up to get that first distributor. I remember that. I get it. But I can promise you, don't. It is, unless that person is really excited to do this business and you want to work with them, don't sign them up. Don't do it. Don't do it. Like Ilona says, interview them to make sure that they actually do want to do this business, that they have some sort of work ethic, and that they're going to be teachable, as opposed to trying to talk somebody into it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. As you go along, you get a little pickier because you realize, oh man, I have to actually spend a lot of time with this person and train them. And you want somebody as excited to join you as you are to have them join you, so that you are just, it's easy to be working with that person. You're like, you're so excited. You're like running along beside them. You're almost trying to keep up with the new rep. They're doing so much stuff. You're like, oh my God, that's awesome. You've done that. And you've done that. It's so refreshing, as opposed to, hey, we've got our team call tonight. Join in. They don't show up next day. Hey, missed you on the call. Everything okay? What's going on? Oh yeah, whatever. You're like, oh man, it's pushing a wet noodle uphill. It's no fun. So be picky. You guys have an awesome opportunity, and you get to choose who you want to work with. So yeah. So it's 9:32. I want to respect everybody's time. Anybody have any other questions though? Because this is a big focus, the conference call. So did anybody else have any other questions about it? No? Okay, I'll just flip it over to Nikki quick. Tell us the 2 events coming up, Nikki.
Hello, all. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So Nicole just wanted us to remind you guys of the Kitchener event tomorrow, and the mother-daughter event on November 30th. So both are on the website, Eventbrite's, and links to those. The mother-daughter one's with Jen Pike, Hormone Project. That one's awesome. The last one that I went to, learned so much from that. And the Kitchener event is with Nicole Scott, and she's going to be doing What's Up with Allergies. So 2 really great events. And then she also just wanted to remind everyone, Melissa already mentioned, but about the grad calls on Mondays, just making sure that you guys get onto them so that we can grow the groups and add value.
Thanks, Nikki. So yeah, lots of events coming. We are just going to be finalizing for sure the 2018 calendar tomorrow. And then our wonderful Nikki is going to get all that info and post it on our website. So you guys will be able to see everything and book it in your calendars, so you'll know ahead of time what is going on. Good? Perfect. All right. Well, good night, guys. Thanks again for coming out, showing up, and we will see you soon.